Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pitch Side podcast channel, and we're coming off straight after the end of the Manchester United-Manchester City game in the derby of Manchester, a game that I think ended in a draw that would satisfy Ole Gunnar Solskjaer considering the week that he has, and considering that he lost his place in the Champions League and crashed out of that competition against Leipzig in the midweek. The game was really dull mostly, nothing really to talk about, nothing meaty in terms of performance for both sides. Conservative first 15 minutes. United started with a pretty much 4-3-1-2, 4-3-3 really. Bruno Fernandes playing more wide than central. United played a medium block, copying what Leipzig used against them, really playing for the first 15 to 20 minutes with central medium pressing of sorts, forcing Manchester City to play wide. The attackers were dropping really deep in the midfield to try and link up with the midfielders. Riyad Mahrez and Raheem Sterling were forcing to drop into the midfield. Gabriel Jesus was forced to do the same as well. United's defensive structure was successful in certain points to break the Manchester City lines really, and force them to play really wide. We didn't see chances from either side. It wasn't really a chances heavy game. We waited 33 minutes to see City's first big attempt on target in the first half, and the first time probably De Bruyne found proper space to play centrally, setting up Riyad Mahrez, only for David De Gea to pull out the save, denying him to score the first goal. Midfield-wise, Manchester United worked really hard. Pogba was doing the defensive work. Surprisingly, he had a really good game, I would assume, alongside Fred and McTominay, who put tremendous shift in that midfield to deny De Bruyne the chance to move freely and to have any sort of space to play the passes that he likes to play. For the attackers, really, the presence of Gabriel Jesus cannot really work because he's not that movable. I think he's too straight in his movement. He drops and then runs forward. He doesn't have the the smart movement that Sergio Aguero does, where he pulls defenders towards one side, pulls the centre halves to the left or the right. He cannot do that. City were overcommitting themselves forward really. They left themselves quite open at a certain points for Manchester United almost to hit them on the counter, but overall it was a very decent first half really, very poised first half, very fair first half overall. In the second half, it was a good start from United, very strong start, getting the better of Manchester City, finding a couple of dangerous situations, but the finishing let them down really, from Marcus Rashford at a certain occasion and also Mason Greenwood on another. They had a penalty that was chalked off by VAR for an offside on Rashford in the build-up of the game. The first 10 minutes, United tried to press, they tried to play good balls forward, they found really decent spaces to play into, only for the finishing to let them down, and couldn't do much of the pressure and the possession and the half chances that they had in those first 10 minutes. After the hour mark, the game pretty much settled into a clear pattern that was expected really by everyone. Manchester City getting more of the possession, while Solskjaer's side sat really deep and played on the counter. However, City were really not effective. They were slow, they were labouring at certain points, they didn't create a lot of dangerous opportunities despite their possession. They were forced to move too wide at certain points, and United, easily made themselves compact in the middle and dealt with almost everything City threw at them. By the last 15 to 20 minutes, really, United were satisfied with a draw, I would assume. They really accept the fact that they have a good point against Manchester City. They will accept the fact that they will not be losing the game. So, Manchester City tried harder. Ferran Torres came on with no addition really whatsoever, while Anthony Martial came on from the other side also without any significant contribution in the game. Overall, it was a dull 0-0, a bad 0-0, the kind of result similar to the United-Chelsea game a couple of weeks before it at Old Trafford as well. The only person that probably this draw helps is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because then he's probably going to extend his shelf life a little bit longer at the club. Overall, nothing really major happened in this game. No Victor, the spoils were shared really. Everybody stays at his place for the moment. United stay above City on the table by that same 1 point difference. Again, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is probably the biggest winner of the game, despite the 0-0 draw. For Manchester City, another ineffective performance, and they have been, pulling out these kind of slow and labouring displays quite a while this season. Another performance where they cannot score. They barely have anything to show for it. They barely had attempts on target really to threaten Manchester United for all the possession that they have, specifically in the second half, more than the first. That's all for the Manchester derby really. Nothing really to say. That's why the video looks too short, because there was nothing big to speak about in the Manchester derby. A dull draw that will help no one really. Aside from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I said, extending his shelf life at the club. In the end, like, comment, share the video, subscribe to the channel of course, enable notifications to receive all the updates about the podcast. Until the next time, I was your boy the HOD from the PSP, and goodbye.